One man arrested in Mwanza. And in sports, national under-17 women's team to face Burundi in January 12th. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. The government has ended a long conflict between Hanga Livestock Farm and residents of Ngadida Village, Madaba Council, Ruvuma region. Allegedly, residents invaded the farm following lack of area to conduct their economic activities. Now, following the conflict, the government handed over 4,000 hectares to residents for agriculture and livestock keeping activities. The directives were given by the Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Luhaga Mpina.
Mheshimiwa Waziri, sisi wananchi wa Ngadida tuna tatizo kubwa.
There is a big shortage of land in our area. We ask the government through you to assist us in this regard.
Kwa niaba ya serikali katika wilaya ya Songea.
On behalf of the government in Songea district, I commend your ministry for the work you do. The government has consented, and a total of 1,800 hectares will be handed over to the people in the area.
Force in Mwanza region have arrested 7 people suspected to be conmen. Mwanza Regional Commissioner ICP Muliro Jumanne Muliro say the suspects have been lying to people that they are security officers at State House while walking away with people's money.
Baada ya kupata taarifa kwamba kuna watu wanapita kwenye maeneo mbalimbali ya jiji la Mwanza.
Once we received intelligence that there are people going around in Mwanza threatening business owners and government workers, that they are from the State House, scaring their victims, we made a follow-up in Nyakato and arrested 7 suspects who had fake IDs.
Walikutwa na vitambulisho mbalimbali, baadhi yao wakijidai ni sehemu ya marubani wa ndege za ofisi ya rais.
With 13 days remaining on the exercise of SIM card registrations, hundreds of Dar es Salaam residents are still holding on long queues at National Identification Authority NIDA offices following up on their national identification registration numbers, many losing hope of getting the numbers on time.
Once you've completed all stages of registration, they tell you that your ID will be ready within a month, yet it is not the case. There are some who are given their numbers immediately. We ask procedures to be followed. Unless someone is ill, this should not be treated carelessly, and those on queue should not be ignored. And people must apply for their ID numbers on time. As you can see, it's only a handful who have not yet received their needed numbers. For Ubungo district, more applicants have been issued with their numbers. However, there are those who have not yet visited the immigration desk.
The government has stated that investigations of the case of money laundering facing public education officer from Legal and Human Rights Center, Mr. Tito Magoti, and his co-accused ICT specialist Theodore Gian are incomplete. The case was heard at Kisutu Resident Magistrate Court, bringing attention to activists, advocates and residents of Dar es Salaam who were present in large numbers at the court. Now, State Attorney Renatus Mkude told Resident Chief Judge Janet Mtega that investigations of the case are ongoing, pleading for the court to adjourn the case. Meanwhile, defending lawyers complained and called on the court to make sure that investigations must be completed before arrest of suspects. Chief Judge Janet Mtega adjourned the case until January 21st. Now, President of Zanzibar and the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has said that the government of Zanzibar will continue providing education and health services free in the country. Dr. Shein made the statement while laying foundation stone at Ziwakije Wingwi Secondary School, North Pemba region, marking celebrations of 56 years of revolution in Zanzibar.
I'm telling you this because I've seen the signs. We must promote peace and love for one another. We've built a lot of buildings, 9 of which 5 are in Unguja and 4 in Pemba, in areas that will meet the people's needs. The school will have 12 classrooms, 3 laboratories for science, as well as some for language.
The ongoing heavy rains in Morogoro region has cut off communication between Chanuru to Melela Road following floods at the main road and became a great challenge to pedestrians and contractors of standard gauge railway who have failed to transport materials to construction sites.
Kulingana na hali iliyotokea ni kwamba kama tulivyoongea na wenzetu ambao wanatumia hii barabara.
We spoke to frequent road users who take sand from here, which has affected this area. So we've agreed to work together to do some improvement to the road.
Sehemu korofi inafika kilomita 3. Kilomita 3. Ndio inatakiwa nyanyuliwe. Yuko makala farma hapo. Mangapi vile? Kwa kweli kuna location kama 8 ambazo tukiweka hizo kwa interval hiyo maji yatapita na barabara kunyanyulia.
Tanzanians have been reminded that they will not be able to travel with old passports from 31st of January 2020. The Migration Department said a total of 200,000 Tanzanians have managed to get new electronic passports so far.
Nadhani taarifa sahihi ni hii ya tarehe 31.
The notification period is until the 31st of January, so we hope that by end of this month we will withdraw the use of old passport. However, the process to change the passport is ongoing and passport holders can apply for a new passport even after January the 31st.
Mimi najisikia furaha kupata passport.
I'm delighted to get my new passport, which is of a very high quality compared to old one. I urge people to apply early. It only took me 2 weeks to receive mine.
Ukichelewa utaulaumu mchakato, lakini ukiwahi ina maana utakwenda sambamba na deadline.
Diplomats and international affairs analysts have called on United Nations to intervene in the ongoing intensive tension between United States of America, Iran and Iraq, which will result in a shedding of blood of innocent people and retard economies of African countries.
Decisions made by the United Nations is reached upon by a vote system. Although the United States has a veto, there are countries like Russia and China who will not support the United States.
Pale ni pahala ambapo pakiwaka moto uchumi wa dunia.
If there is conflict, then a lot of areas will be affected because a lot of our operations rely on oil, such as agriculture, transport and production.
Mingi sana Irani ilishambulia maeneo, ilituhumiwa, wenyewe wamekanusha, lakini ilituhumiwa kushambulia maeneo ya Saudi Arabia.
Iran was alleged to attack some parts of Saudi Arabia, so what will determine the outcome is on how Iran responds.
Kutoka Saudi Arabia karibia nusu nzima. Sasa namna Iran atakavyolipa kisasi ndio itaonyesha ukubwa wa hizo athari.
And Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau PCCB Geita region has collected over 600 million shillings as fine from 100 Chinese nationals who were arrested for entering the country illegally and engage in illegal mining activities at Eagle Brand Mine. Acting head of PCCB in Geita, Azam Taita, say the institution is working day and night in combating corruption in mines.
Serikali fedha jumla ya shilingi milioni 650.
97 Chinese nationals have been found working without a permit in the gold mine. In addition, PCCB has discovered embezzlement of funds set aside for road construction, which was constructed below standard. PCCB must address issues on other institutions whereby the general public is not served well. Other areas are still of concern, including the construction of infrastructure in health and education.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows next. And in international news, victims of floods of Buterere streets in Bujumbura who lost their houses have asked the government to help them with shelter as they await for construction of their houses.
I ask anyone who can help us financially or in housing to do so in such a plea. We ask for shelter so we can spend the night there.
Now, moving on to Al-Shabaab terrorist group, soldiers have been killed during an intensive fight in Soweto, Dadaab at Garissa County after they killed 4 people earlier this morning. And all friends and other people who survived death in Beni says their lives are miserable without any help despite their parents dying for not being protected by the government.
I ran to the bush, but she hid under the bed and was gunned down. We told Dad we were going, but in the morning we went to check on him, for we wanted all of us to live together. Our hearts break for these orphans.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
We believe that the driver is the customer.
To change the mindset of traditional HR to the digital decentralization. Make sure that everybody can get some access to financial services.
And once we understand the vision of our leaders, we then need to be behind them and help them in achieving that vision.
Business have involved mercantile operations, trade guilds, or shared agricultural production. Infrastructure, construction, financial sectors, tourism, and mining. Business edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. Investors of factories dealing with processing palm cooking oil have been told to stop using Murundi Expera machines, which have lower capacity of processing oil. Instead, they should use bigger machines, which will benefit farmers.
The machine can press up to 60%, although we have some big stakeholders who have come forward.
Naomba serikali kwa kweli nisaidie ni jinsi gani mimi niingize umeme hapa.
We asked the government to help me be connected with electricity so I can repair my machinery from here.
Haya, pale ambapo inapoonekana kwamba si lazima niende Simbo, huwa ninavipandisha kwenda kwenye umeme kule sokoni.
A union of 32 coffee farmers in Kilimanjaro has started a plan of inspiring small farmers to engage in organic farming, since organic coffee is highly demanded in foreign markets.
G22 entered organic produce market, whereby for fruits and vegetable, the market is growing each year and is very profitable. Farmers are delighted because the price goes up every season. Organic farming is profitable and it benefits us a lot because we don't use pesticides. A lot of farmers are now able to send their children to school.
Permanent Secretary for Fisheries Sector, Dr. Rashid Tamatama, says despite the development in fisheries sector, still there are challenges in production of fish from traditional water sources compared to the amount of water resources in the country.
Sure that this cooperation is revived.
We do apologize for that technical default there, but that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly after this break. We'll be right back.
Stages of registration.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
Welcome back, and in sports news. The national under-17 women's team will face Burundi in January 12th this year at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam as they fight to qualify for the World Cup.
We are now heading to a competition which we have waited for a long time. We have prepared for a very long time for the competition. We are playing Burundi, a team we've already played with in the Sekafa Championship in Jinja, the game ending with a 3-3 draw. We have seen our mistakes, which led to the result, but we have seen the quality of Burundi as well as their mistakes.
Tumeona ubora wa Burundi uko wapi, tumeona madhaifu yao vile vile yako wapi, tumefanyia kazi wote kwa ujumla.
Soccer officials have been urged to remember their ethics and remain honest when officiating matches in the country while looking at the bigger picture, which is the international referees.
Actually, as a referee, you have to train daily.
Like a player?
Like a player. And you have to have a program. You have got a match, it's have got its own training. You have got you are preparing for cover test, you have to train for that cover test. So, but you should go in the field every now and then. For instance, during my time, every day I was running Gasoro Jumamosi and Jumapili. I was running 15 kilometers every day.
5 days a week?
15
kilometers?
15 kilometers.
Oh wow.
Go 7.5 and come back 7.5. Because you have to have endurance. If you don't have endurance, you can't fit that field of play.
Yeah, and the problem is you're running even sometimes more than the players.
More than the players. So training, you must train daily.
Now, less than a fortnight before the start of the Australian Open, Melbourne lies under a thickening blanket of bushfire haze, and air quality has been downgraded to very poor and hazardous, which constitutes a serious health threat. Here's the report.
There's a chance the tournament will be delayed, although conditions are expected to ease before the start on 20th of January. Smoke drifting across from Samania has mixed with continued pollution from fires in rural Victoria, and the air quality index, the Canberra, on 568 on Friday, were in front of non-pollution black spots in Asia, broke through the 200 barrier in Melbourne on Monday evening, which places the Victorian capital in 4th place behind Delhi and Lahore, and in front of Shenyang. 7-time champion and Australian Open favourite Novak Djokovic, who suffered respiratory problems earlier in career, said at the weekend in his capacity as president of the ATP Players Council that air pollution at the Melbourne site would have to be closely monitored, and did not rule out discussing a delay to the tournament if players' health was going to be compromised.
Tottenham have confirmed the Metropolitan Police have ended their investigation into alleged racial abuse of the Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger during a Premier League match last month, having found no evidence to support the allegations.
Spurs had vowed to take the strongest possible action against anyone found to have abused Rudiger, who appeared to indicate he had been targeted with a monkey chant during Chelsea's 2-1 victory on 22nd of December. Anthony Taylor, the referee, stopped play after being alerted to the alleged abuse of the German international, and an announcement on the public address system informed the crowd that racist behavior from spectators is interfering with the game. The announcement was made on 2 further occasions in line with Premier League protocols.
Erling Haaland said Borussia Dortmund's plan triggered him to pick the Bundesliga side instead of Premier League giants Manchester United. Here are more details.
Highly rated Norwegian striker Haaland signed a 4.5-year deal with Dortmund despite strong interest from Man United. Man United, along with RB Leipzig and Juventus, were among the admirers of Haaland, who scored 28 goals in 22 appearances across all competitions for Salzburg this season. Haaland revealed why he opted to join Dortmund with the 19-year-old sensation, saying, "They just went direct and said, 'We need you up front, we like your playing style, and we want to have you here.'"
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. That is the end of our news bulletin, and it's good night for now.